Share my screen. So yeah, just going back to that, I have two kind of update methods. I have this rate method that really just is pulling the stars off of that and kind of manually doing it. But then I also have the update, which finds the param and then does the, which finds the ID, but then calls my sanitizer. So both of them work, and it's just a matter of like what I kind of would want to do. I could, if I want that to go to the rate method, then I just do rate. I want to leave it to go to the update method, I could do that. So maybe if there's something like special check that I wanted to do just for rate, then I'll have it go there. So I threw in some logs. So there's, see, there's now it's going to the rate method. I get rid of that. Then it matches the update path. And then I'll call the update, but it still has like, it's still passing the stars. So it works. Cool. So I think, I guess maybe I'll just, for clarity, maybe I'll put that one as rate. Sweet. So let's do the delete next. Let's just start. Let's do the back end first. Or so let's do the front end first. So for the delete, once again on this one, oh wait, is there, wait, does this matter? Oh, sorry, I created some that just didn't have a name, I think is what happened. I'm just wondering why I have blank ones in here. Probably from when I created that in the Postman. Hold on. Hopefully that's, is that a bug? Let me actually switch this back to, maybe there is a bug in here. That shouldn't do it though. No, I'm sorry. I think this is just from my Postman not filling these out. Sometimes this can be, this might cause you problems, like if you have like these blank values, because I'm not sure if did I cause that or is that just because I forgot to fill them out. So maybe it might be a good idea to like reseed my database and see if I see that pop up again. Looks like maybe I don't destroy all my facts. So I could come into my console and do fact.all or fact.destroy all, or go and throw that in my seeds file. But I just want to delete all my facts and reseed. Okay, yeah, I think that wasn't, I don't know why that would break it, but just want to do like a sanity check. Okay, so those both seem to be working. So anyway, let's go in and now do our delete on this. So I'm going to do this in my fact component. I want to do a button here. I'm totally screwing up my UI, but that's okay for now. So for this one, I don't want to do like a history.push. I'm just going to call this like delete. Well, for this one, because I'm already thinking, well, this one, I'm not going to go to a new page. I'm not going to like go to this form. This one I actually am going to want to like pass down the prop to handle this delete function. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just assume, hey, I'm going to get a delete fact from here function from my props. And that's what I'm going to call on this on click. Give it the ID. So now I'm expecting this fact component to get a delete fact method. So where I render my facts here, now I need a delete fact method. I need to pass that down as props. I'm kind of going backwards. Delete fact. Well, now this facts component needs a delete fact prop. But this one I'm passing it as props, so I'm going to call this props dot delete fact. Oh wait, this is my high level component, sorry. So I don't actually need that. I'm going to do, so it's not going to be from props because this is where my state actually is. That's all I needed to go to is where the state is. So the state for facts is living in facts. So now I can define this function here. Sorry, I thought I had to go one more level up. So now I can actually define this function. So I have my delete fact function that's taken an ID. I'm not even going to do this in a try catch. It's just do a, I always say that, but then I always change my mind. It's just so easy. Try catch error, console log error. And then this is going to be async because we're going to do our Axios call here. Let's go ahead and do our let response equal Axios.delete. This is going to go to our facts. We need to pass it the ID. I forgot the ID again. Or sorry, the API. And the await. I'm just putting everything await. And then here I can do this let new facts, or I could call it filtered facts. Something filtered facts equals, let's go through my facts. Let's do the filter function. Go through each fact. We want to keep it if the fact.id does not equal the ID that was passed to this function. And then we can set facts to the filtered facts. Now I don't have my backend working, so I know I'm going to get a 404 error. But I still could test, hey, is this going to remove it from my UI? I could still test that much by just throwing this section in the catch part. And then I'll remove it once I've seen it work. Let's refresh. I guess there's the delete. But so here's the one fact. Let's delete that. Delete. So my delete is working on the front end. I mean, if I refresh, it's not actually deleting them from the back end. But now I know this code is, like this code right here should work. So I can kind of get rid of that. did I change? So yeah, now I could do this would be a good time to do a commit. Delete front end. That, and then push it up. Now I'd say as you're starting to work with teams and starting to work with GitHub, I think you're gonna like want to clear it with your teams, like, hey, I'm ready to push. Is that okay? Do I need to pull? Just like you're gonna be working with them, so you can just use communication here to be like, hey, I'm pushing this up. And then they'll be like, okay, push it up and then I'll pull down. You know, we'll get to a point where it's like you don't need to like get permission to push, because you're going to be like pushing up to your own branch, and you're specifically going to ask someone to like merge your code. But for now, as you're kind of new at it, your best friend is going to be just talking to each other. Okay, so that's good, but now we need to do the back end. The back end should be pretty straightforward. Just go into our routes. I'm going to do a delete request. That takes me to my fax ID. That should take me to the destroy method. So then if I go to my fax controller, to my destroy, and I really should, let's go ahead and clean this up. Since I'm doing a lot of these, let's do our find fact. The one thing I need to change with this is make this an instance variable, because I'm going to be using this in a lot of different methods. So then I'll need to change that everywhere. I could do a command F and save it like that. Just going to manually do this. Slap on my hand for not doing this earlier. So that one has it at fact. And then this one can just be render JSON at fact. And I don't need this call right there. Then I can just do this as a before action. I'm going to call this set fact. Set fact, but we want to only do this on our show, update, and destroy. And we actually do it on our rate as well. So I use only colons. Show, update, destroy, and rate. And then for my destroy, I can just do a render JSON fact.destroy. So I can get back the thing that I just destroyed, just in case if the client wants to do anything with it. I could test this. Delete API fact /4, send for action. Let's do this. Set fact. The colon needs to go in front of set fact. Can't find fact with ID 4. Did that actually delete it? Let's get all my facts. Oh, I need to do a get. Let's get my facts. Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I think I have deleted the one with 4 when I dropped everything in my database. Okay, so if I delete 18, there we go. That deletes it from the database. I can see it coming back as a response. Oh wait, no, that's a get request. That's actually just getting it. I need to do a delete. Okay, so that worked. So if I try to get 18 now, I should get an error because I deleted that. Cool. So now I can't find the ID with 18. And yeah, with my back end working and with my front end working, now this should just work. Because I've tested that out. Let me refresh this. Delete. And if I refresh, they're gone. So yeah, I could like reseed my database, but now I got my destroy working. Cool. So that is CRUD actions on one model with Rails and React separated. How's that feel? This is, we're actually, especially for having Monday off, we're pretty far along because last couple of cohorts, I started this lecture and it would only get to like create and read. So that's where we would end off on Tuesday. So we're kind of, we're doing well. Is there anything, we have some time, but is there anything you would want to see done? We could do like an edit form here on this page, like a drop down edit form or something like that, or you want to get more into React Router. We will do a has many tomorrow. That's kind of like the last thing we're going to add. We could also do some more styling. I think styling, we could spend some time on styling if there's nothing else. Let's do a little bit of styling. Maybe something you can mess around with today is adding like a third-party component library. So let's say I want to go in and like have a nice nav bar. That could maybe take me some time to do with CSS. And then I might have to like think about responsiveness. And then I'm going to have to think about, well, what's that going to look like on Chrome? What's that going to look like on Firefox? What's that going to look like on IE or on an iPhone? So design and CSS can get really complicated just because of the amount of like devices. So if you're in a hurry and you want some you know, decent looking components and you don't want to spend the time styling them yourself, there's a whole bunch of these component libraries. And one we're going to use a lot is Semantic UI React. Let's come in here and look at this documentation. Now, once again, this is something where we're really not going to do like a lecture on this. We're just kind of slowly going to start adding it in. And if you ever have questions on it or what you're trying to do, it's where you need to utilize either their documentation or like Google. And because what happens too is like we use semantic UI a lot and then people don't like it. They don't like how it looks, or it doesn't give them the functionality they need for their final project, and then they go pick a different one. So there's some other ones. I'm just going to throw out some names here. Bootstrap. Who's heard of Bootstrap? So Bootstrap is like a CSS framework, but they also have a React component library. So, yeah, if you want it, because, and once you kind of learn how to use one, it's like, it's really, they're really kind of self-explanatory with the docs, and we'll kind of look at them, but it's not like you need to be an expert to like use Bootstrap UI React. It's like, you just import it, and then when you want to do stuff, you come into their documentation. The last one I'm going to just throw out is Ant Design. This is one of my favorite ones, or because this one has a lot of like built-in, like there's a ton of functionality here. So if you're doing something more like admin-y, or like you need a lot of like functionality, this one's a good one. So this one's, you might see some Chinese on here. This one's actually, it's a Chinese component library, but I mean, they have good English documentations, but this one I think is like, I think some of the big Chinese companies utilize it, like Alibaba and Tencent and those kind of things. So yeah, tons of components here. So the nice thing about React, because didn't someone use Bootstrap for their like about me? I thought someone might have. If you just use Bootstrap CSS, that's just styling. But if you use one of these React components, let's like look at a form component. This is where it's like, these are really nice. So we could go look at like their form components. It loads. And they have all of this like, you know, it just looks nice like that. The styling is nice. We can, you know, has a lot of this like, well, do you want it to be vertical, inline, small, large? And if we look at the code for all of this, we're just gonna like, the code's pretty simple to read. It's like, oh, I'm gonna use it's not, I mean, it's not super simple, but it's really, we're just gonna do these things with like the props that they define that we can use. So like, for example, where's like a more, let's just look at this one up here. And we'll do one of these. But I'll just give these like, you know, props that are going to style it for me. They might have like autocomplete functionality. So you don't have to write the autocomplete. You can just turn that prop to on. So that's the trade-off. It's like, well, do you want to write autocomplete, or do you just want to add a prop to their form and turn that to on? Some other things where this is really useful too is like, see how like this red star right there? I'm sure all you need for that is like a required prop, and then it will like style it like that. Drop downs, input street. Let's find like, there's a lot here. So like look at that, like validation. So as I'm typing, it's just saying, hey, that's not a valid email. Okay, let's like put in a valid email. So now it's like, okay, that looks like a valid email. So like the warning goes away. It's like giving you checks. You can like see it. They have like nice little drop downs and forms. So if you wanted to do like a phone number, this is just a ton of functionality that would be take a lot of time to do yourself. So it's like one of the things I stress that my job is like when they wanted me to build like this app for kind of from scratch, I was like, well, and they wanted it to be done quickly. It's like, well, can I use this component library? And it'll be like, honestly, like 2 months faster. It has all this work done. And they were like, yes. And like they were really impressed with how functional it was, but it was really just the component library. So anyway, if time is important and resources, 100% use a component library. If you have a huge team and you want this customized look and feel, and you have designers, then you might start creating your own custom component library. So it's a trade-off. Because yeah, one thing that you kind of do get stuck with a little when you pick one of these is you can kind of customize how it looks, but you kind of are kind of boxed in to like a general style. Like you can all tell these components are going to look a little different, and you're not probably going to want to like mix and match like Bootstrap with Ant Design because their designs won't match and it'll kind of look weird if you're using two different style guides. So, but let's go into that and use Semantic UI React and just kind of see how simple this is to get started. So let's do a nav bar. So there's two things we need to add, and I'll select this out. We're going to add Semantic UI React and Semantic UI React CSS. Cool. So I can go ahead. Now I want to run that in my client directory. So this, in here I can cd into client and add those there. Okay, so that's working. So now I can do a yarn start just to restart my React server. So if you see in documentation where it's like yarn add or npm install, we're using yarn. You kind of just want to stick with one for each project. And they both do the same thing. They just go get those packages from npm, which is a website called Node Package Manager. So we'll use the yarn add version. And then we need to do this. So we need to import the minified CSS in your app's entry file. So that's either going to be like, that's going to be our index.css, or sorry, our index.js. I'll throw this out. And this is just their CSS file. So we're just importing their CSS file. So it's now visible to us. Oh, my review running this. So let's go into our index.js. Boom, there we go. Let's refresh that. Kind of see how it already changed. Like my links look different. The color's a little different. My stars are screwed up. But yeah, things are a little different because like I've imported all of that CSS. So I've imported all of semantic CSS, which is a ton. So I probably can get rid of and should, after doing that, if I go to my, where would it be? Where did I put that? App.css. Probably I should get rid of all this stuff. Probably just clear this out. And then what's in my index.css? Yeah, I'm just gonna let like, cause semantic has like, they have all of that reset stuff. So I'm just going to rely on the default styles and then go from there. Let's see if that fixed anything. No, that's still messed up, but I don't really need all that other CSS. But let's go in. I'm not so concerned about these stars for now. What I want to do is the nav bar. So for that, you know, I'm just going to look for like a nav bar. It's not called a nav bar in here. It's called a menu. So I could like search for it menu. And then I can kind of look at some like options. Like, do I want like little tab thingies? Or do I want like this one up here? I can look, the nice thing about a lot of these, and I think Ant Design has this as well, they have links to code sandboxes for all of these examples. So you can like go try them out, that kind of stuff. Or they also just have like the code. Now, something that's going to be different that you might see in some of these components is that they're using class components. And we haven't used those. So we might need to talk. I mean, I don't really want to talk about that until next week. I wonder if we can, they have a lot that are mixed. They have a lot of like class components and functional components, but I wonder if we could even Google this like semantic. So you might find something you like but can't use in semantic React menu functional components. Maybe not. Let's see if we can just go in and do this anyway. My computer is getting slow. So let's just take one of these, and I'm just going to take what's in the render. And I'm going to go in here in my, I'm going to find my nav bar. And let's just do this. Let's just get rid of this. So let's try to see what they're doing here and see if we can make this work with the functional component. So they have a handle item click that seems to take an event and a name, and then it calls this dot set state active item name. So with class components, we handle state differently. We come up here and we create a state object, and then we can have like key value pairs. So for this, what I really want is I want this active item state. And I want a way to set that state. So I can also maybe take this function and copy it, because this might give me a hint on how to do that. Okay, now I don't have a this dot set state function. That's definitely going to break. But I want to, what I really want to do is, like I said, I want to have that. It seems like I want this active item state. So let's go ahead and create that how we would with a functional component. Not quite, maybe not quite sure what that's supposed to be, but on this handle click item, seems like instead of setting the state, what I want to do is I want to set active item to this name. Seems like I'm missing a parenthesis somewhere. And on click, like I don't have, like, we don't know what the this keyword is, so let's just get rid of it. We haven't really talked about this. Just get rid of it. Did I spell active item wrong? Why is that not highlighted?
You need to import menu.
I do need to import menu. I'm more looking at this active item. It seems to be like that dull color. And my imports are all dull. I feel like this is a syntax error. Yeah, okay. But I do need to import. I have a syntax error somewhere.
I think you have an extra bracket.
Yeah, it's right. It's right here. I'm closing my function right there. So I need to get rid of that one. Yeah, that was my extra bracket. And then I deleted that one, so I need to put it back. Cool. So now that's highlighted. And now I need to, I need to import menu. Import menu from semantic UI. Now, two are coming up here. This is a common error. Some people sometimes do this from CSS, and then that's going to get an error. Maybe let's just do it so we can see the error, because you might run into this one. A lot of errors. Okay, so I have use state. So I need to make this a const, that handle click. I need to do use state. What other errors do I have? Menu is not defined. Should be. Okay. If you get this error, Jquery is not defined, that's the error you're going to get if you import from CSS. So this one needs to be from React. I import the component from the React library. Let's refresh. My computer's just taking forever. Okay. Has anyone got theirs working? If this happens, it might have gotten like, if it ever gets stuck like this, I mean, it's still compiling. I just want to like stop it and restart it if it's taking forever. Sometimes like if you get yourself into an error, it can mess up the compiler. Server. But while that's doing, we can kind of look at this. So this is not quite done because, I mean, I've copied there, so like these names aren't going to match, like menu item, editorials. And I also got rid of my link. So I'm going to need to fix that. I can just do that now. So I want to do, my computer's like freezing up. I can do like, we had a home page, right? Home. That will be home. And then I'm actually going to want to wrap this all in my link. So I'm going to wrap my menu item in my link. And do home here. And then I only had 2 menu items, so I can delete that one. Change this one to facts. Change that one to facts. Change this to facts. And then wrap this in a link. This one can go to /facts. Quite seem like it's getting the changes. Some my computer, I think my computer's just overheating, but I can really see like I have this nav bar now, and it has like this nice styling. It's got like I'm setting the state, so it's like keeping track of which one should be highlighted, like which one's active. But yeah, I've removed my links, so these are no longer working. Still trying to like download that. So we're gonna get it. But yeah, okay, there it finally goes. Home, facts. And there we go. So now I have like a nice nav bar that is styled. It's got some functionality. It's got like the hover over. And you know, that was really quick to do that. So that's like the benefit of these libraries. And there's a whole bunch of, there's like a lot of these will have like grids, because remember, like trying to work with grids and like responsiveness, that can totally be a pain. So they can give you like these grid frameworks that like you can make them more easily responsive, handle different screen sizes. There's a whole bunch of accordions, like things like this, like drop downs. I mean, we could do this in React ourselves, no problem, but this is just already done. And where these component library, like forms are huge because forms can get complicated. So things like, giving us a nice message, please enter a valid email. Like it's got this nice style, it's red, it's above the form, stuff like that. Questions on that? I think I'm going to stop now because my computer is dying, and semantic, I just kind of wanted to demo that. It's not like it's kind of going to be like a bonus thing for this week. I really thought most of their examples are not like, yeah, here's a class functional component. I think most of their examples are functional components, but this is something you don't need to add to your hackathon. Just be a bonus, be small bonus if you do. But it's all about functionality with the CRUD actions. So cool. I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording. Are there any questions? I guess I should have kept recording, but or kept sharing. But any